They couldn't be separated in the original matchup, so we're here for a replay of the rematch of the FA Cup final. Chelsea taking on Manchester United, this time at Old Trafford. Live next. Well, it's fair to say that the original matchup between these two was no classic. It was a 0-0 draw. It was a bit of a stalemate, to be honest, with neither team really able to best the other in this rematch of the FA Cup final from last season, in which Antonio Conte prevailed and gave Chelsea their FA Cup win, only to be sacked just months later in a bit of a Louis van Gaal scenario. So Manchester United would know all about that, really. And as you can see, pretty much full strength side for Gregg Popovich today after earning that point against Leicester City. There is no real excuse for him not to win this one with his best looking squad. The manager Matic obviously making another appearance against his former club, for his former club against it. It's a bit of a conundrum, really. Try saying that with your mouth full. But no matter the case, he is back at Chelsea. He wasn't really one of Gregg Popovich's players, so he moved him on. The same with Lukaku, and the same with a couple of others as well. But it's fair to say that Manchester United have not lost anything, despite two sellings that you would have thought would probably be suited to this Manchester United side. They have not lost a step despite those sellings, and the ones that Gregg Popovich replaced them with have been more than capable. David De Gea starts in goal with Dalot, Bailly, Maguire and Borthwick Jackson. Obviously the Timmy Fusu-Mensah injury forces the change. Henwood is for Sanchez and Pogba in the midfield. It's Zaha and Martial up front with Tahir Chong on the left wing there. Man of the hour against Brighton and continues to perform. Maurizio Sarri's Chelsea team. Willy Cabello plays in goal, much like he did in the first fixture. Miles Bender, the newest signing, is in the defence with Chiellini, Azpilicueta and Marcus Alonso. Kovac is with Kante and Nemanja Matic. Willian is with Hazard and Edin Dzeko. So here we are for another attempt at trying to separate these two. If it doesn't go to be separated at the end of this match, we'll have extra time and maybe a penalty shootout. The last time Manchester United had one of those was in the American Challenge Cup, and they lost, and Sanchez has immediately scored. And maybe there'll be no need for a penalty shootout, because Manchester United have absolutely come out of the block swinging. Tahir Chong with a great cross there, and Sanchez, much like most of this season, he's buried it. Most people haven't even taken their seats before Sanchez had scored there. Well, Tahir Chong, look at this defending from Chelsea. It's poor, to be honest. They left Sanchez on side. The ball greatly falls to him. Cabello probably should have done better, but the whole Chelsea team is at fault for this one. Sanchez, it's a great controlled strike. Probably never going to miss there. Probably looked ultra confident as well, and he didn't really look like missing. And that man's team looks to avenge his FA Cup final loss last season, and this time he's going the right way about it. Sanchez has scored within a minute and a half, and United have to now defend or even score more for 89 minutes. United one up inside seconds with that one. I think Chong got the ball there. Alonso probably had the better of him in a way. Oh, he doesn't get the better of that one. Chong goes down, and that's Kovac, and he's going to go into the book. That one. It certainly is. Mateo Kovac. It's a really crunching challenge. Nowhere near the ball. Oh, he's probably lucky not to see red. He's nowhere near the ball there. Sanchez. Pogba. Zaha rather, my apologies. Here is Paul Pogba. And then we're back to Pogba, Manchester United. Pass, pass, pass. And a shot and a goal. It's absolutely wonderful watching this Manchester United side this season. Manchester United with a goal, another goal, 2 up against Chelsea. And Anthony Martial finishes a wonderful passing manoeuvre from his team. Absolutely brilliant. Chelsea not an answer. And it looks to be maybe another scoring rout against another top 5 team. Popovich is making a habit of this. And he certainly put Manchester United in the driver's seat to enter the next round draw. 2 goals in the competition for Martial, 2 goals on the night for Manchester United. And they look in total cruise control yet again. We've not even played 15 minutes, and Manchester United look out of sight. United 2, Chelsea 0. Between these two. Sanchez, Martial, Pogba. Is he fouled? No, he tries to push it into the back of the net and he can't do it. As Abdoulaye Doucouré has gone from Watford to Roma, as we reported at the end of the transfer window. Paul Pogba, it was brilliant how he kept his balance. He just could not get the foot round the ball to put it in the back of the net. As the added on time begins, Dalot puts it out, and it's been a dominating first half for Manchester United, with Chelsea having no answer to the quick fire start that was given by Alexis Sanchez, who within seconds gave United the lead after a wicked cross from Chong, and the other goal went to Anthony Martial after a brilliant passing manoeuvre, which ended once again in another Gregg Popovich typical goal. United typically dominant. United 2, Chelsea 0. And trying to be picked out there by Sanchez, who put his body on the line to get the ball there. In typical Alexis Sanchez fashion. Chong. Oh, he whipped it onto his leg, and with the cross and into Pogba. Oh, it's a beautiful goal. Tahir Chong. What a cross. And Wilfried Zaha did the rest. Look at this flick. Up and over, cross from Chong. Beautiful ball. And Zaha makes it 3-0. But it all goes to Tahir Chong, who is just going from strength to strength at the moment. It's actually a Marcos Alonso own goal. It doesn't go to Zaha, sadly, but the cross from Chong was too much for Alonso to deal with. He put it in the back of his own net. And Chelsea, the masters of their own undoing. But Tahir Chong, what a ball. Sensational ball. As he continues to thrive since scoring his first hat-trick and his first goals for United since then, as Iheanacho has given Leicester a 2-0 lead, as Manchester United will take on Fulham next in the Premier League in a few days' time. Oh, and saved by De Gea. I think that was Dzeko. And out by Willian, out for a goal kick. Aaron Henwood heads forward and finds Martial with it, you know. Alexis Sanchez wanted that more. He's put it in. It's 4-0. You're not going to beat Alexis Sanchez like that. It's absolutely brilliant, the work ethic from Sanchez. And it's 4-0 to Manchester United. And it is just plain sailing for Coach Pop. Alexis Sanchez picks that up, shrugs off the defender. Cabello doesn't get all of the save behind him. And Alexis Sanchez turns into the poacher. Like I said, you're not going to beat him in terms of work ethic either. And he makes it 4-0. And Manchester United are as comfortable as they have been almost all season long. Manchester United 4, Chelsea 0. Maybe it showed because his cross was wayward. Martial doesn't get ahead of Mbappe on that one. Manchester United through to the draw to the next round in rather comfortable fashion. They weren't able to get this many past Chelsea in the first matchup, but once again, that man, Gregg Popovich's team, just continued to bag in the goals, especially against the top 5. Chelsea had no answer for Manchester United once again today. Seems every time they face them, that man isn't influential at all. And everyone else at Manchester United just continues to bang in the goals. And even Chelsea put one past them themselves. A comfortable 4-0 win as Manchester United get their revenge for the FA Cup final win. And maybe, just maybe, they could definitely be on for it again this year. They keep playing like this, they might just win everything. United 4, Chelsea 0. Once again. Alright, so let's have a look at the full results from round 4's replay and what that means for the draw of round 5, which has just been completed, and we will let you know what that is. So the scores from the other games today: Southampton beating Middlesbrough by 3-1, Leicester beating Blackburn by 2-0, and Brentford more of the league minnows than Nottingham Forest, knocked out them by 2-1. And that means for the draw for round 5, which I believe is the quarterfinals at this point, I think 2, 4, 6, 8, 16. Yes, so it is the quarterfinals, I believe. West Ham will take on Crystal Palace at home. Leicester City will face Brentford, so it's a Premier League trip for the league minnows to get their teeth into. Burnley have Wolves in an all-Premier League tie. Watford and Southampton are also an all-Premier League tie. Manchester United have an all-Premier League tie as well with Brighton. A little bit of an easier matchup considering the last two they've had. Cardiff City, the relegation kind of candidates for the Premier League, will take on Millwall away from home. Stoke City will take on Everton, and Arsenal have Newcastle United. It is the final stop before the return of the Champions League to Manchester United when they take on Galatasaray in the last 16. The last stop is Craven Cottage, a ground that has been a struggle ground for Manchester United in times gone by. One team that they've traditionally struggled against. We all remember those a classic comeback or two in yesteryear years. It makes me feel old. But as you can see, the best away record in the league next to Chelsea, and you have to say that makes sense. It's been the away form that has really propelled these two teams to where they are, which is very vital in this era of football, where home advantage counts for maybe a little bit. But as you probably saw, the table really reflects the away form. Rico is in goal for Fulham. It's Callum Chambers, I believe, with Lane Montrose, Molson and Bryan. And Jack Grealish, I believe that is with Seri and Zomba Agusta in the midfield. Vieto is up front. Either side of him is Jesse and Kalechi. Complete shuffle of the deck for Coach Park, but David De Gea does stay in goal. Tuanzebe is with Smalling and Marcus Rojo. It's a back three today. Cameron Ward makes another start with McTominay, Angel Gomez, Herrera and Piera. And it's Williams and Jesse Zardes up front to try and get some goals today. So the next following matchup will be in the Champions League last 16 against Galatasaray. It was well documented over the course of the last two seasons that Gregg Popovich really needs to improve against Europe teams. He lost to Bayern Munich in the American Challenge Cup final, but did beat Real Madrid on the way. I think the improvement needs to come against the European teams. Sevilla was definitely a low point for United. It's a header. Oh, the ball is bundled in. It's Danny Williams already. There's a goal. It's a scrappy one, but they will take it. Danny Williams again with his head from an Andreas Pereira cross. Well, that's a great move by Pereira. Great feint out. A great cross as well. Danny Williams onside. It comes in off the keeper. He really should be doing much better there. And Danny Williams, well, he was kind of scouted as a target man. Rico's really unlucky. He's really unlucky. He tries to get all of it behind the ball and doesn't do so. That's a very unfortunate goal for Fulham to concede, to be honest with you. Danny Williams, a lot of luck in it, but Gregg Popovich will take it if it gives him another 3 points towards his league challenge. Fulham 0, United 1. Many slices of luck in it, but they all count. Clean sheets have certainly been hard to come by for Manchester United this season. But as Coach Park said earlier in the season, the goals that they have conceded, you really can't blame anyone for. They're just well taken goals. But the one important thing is that it's really never enough. Zardes! Oh, he does brilliantly. 2-0. It's another scintillating Manchester United performance here. 2-0 within the first half hour of play. Jesse Zardes just too quick, really. No one at Fulham closing him down. Very poor defending, to be honest. And Zardes hits as sweet as a nut here. And he's certainly been an integral part of Coach Popovich's kind of learning process over the last season or so. He's also established himself as a very decent player indeed. Second goal in the league this season for Jesse Zardes. And it makes it Fulham 0, United 2. It looks like being another dominating United performance. On the way to a title perhaps. Certainly looking likely at the moment. These are players for the future, and I think it's what Manchester United have had to do from the start. I still think David Moyes should have been given a lot more time than he was to find his team. You can't change a thing. You can't do a transition year and then sack your manager after 10 months. It just doesn't make sense. And Jesse puts it in. And I think that might even be an own goal. But Jesse puts it in. 2-1. And again, no clean sheet for David De Gea. You have to wonder, is it defensively or is it De Gea? I don't think it's De Gea. Oh, that's another well-taken goal. Considering the situation and Tuanzebe right there challenging him, the ball falls on his toes into the back of the net, and there's nothing David De Gea can do about it. Once again, Manchester United concede. Jesse, it's a well-taken goal. We're saying that a lot this season. But can they do what most other teams haven't been able to do and capitalise on it? Second half just got more interesting. Fulham 1, United 2. And that is the end of the first half. Manchester United having the initiative very early on with 2 goals in the first half hour. One by Danny Williams, great header for the opening goal, and the second by Jesse Zardes after a great run. But Fulham have made the second half possibly interesting with a well-taken goal once again from the opponents. This time Jesse scores. Fulham 1, United 2. We could be in for an interesting second half, but normally in the second half, Manchester United turn the screw and score more. Which way will they go today? Not really been in the market for defenders as such. I mean, he did buy Harry Maguire in the first window, bought no one in the second. Coach Popovich stating that he didn't really want to break the chemistry of his team. They were doing so well at that point. But, you know, it didn't want to break. Oh, and a well-taken goal again. And Fulham have brought it back. It's 2-2. And Vieto, who has been rather good at Fulham this season. And Manchester United rather did fall apart at the back there. Fulham with a great pass there, and then Vieto and his teammate there linking ever so well, and Vieto getting onside past Chris Smalling, who left him open, and there's nothing Marcus Rojo could do about that. And Fulham, it could be a vital point in their push for survival. Vieto has scored, and despite only signing in the summer, that's his first goal for Fulham. That's interesting. And the second half has got as interesting as we had probably hoped. Fulham 2, United 2. This is a great turn. He's going to pull it in. Callum Gribbin. Oh, with great defending by the Fulham man. And it is 2-2 to Manchester United. Drop points today. And defensively, they weren't at their best. Fulham took advantage of the weaker team today. But we all know that the real test will be next time out for United against Galatasaray in the Champions League. It was a matchup that Popovich had to get through, and we all know what his purpose was. He still got a point out of it though, but it probably should have been 3, but Coach Popovich will take any point he can get, especially away from home. Vieto and Jesse brought it back to 2-2 after Danny Williams and Jesse Zardes merely put Manchester United on course to win, but Fulham fought back. 2-2. Points shared. Alright, so coinciding with today's match, let's take a look at all the other scores and what that means to the Premier League table, and things have changed again, as you can see. We'll start with the scores in Unai Emery's Arsenal side, which have shown more inconsistency, only drawing with Huddersfield today, 1-1. Liverpool beating Bournemouth 3-1, while Cardiff seem rooted at the bottom at the moment, and their survival hopes were dealt another blow by Southampton with a 2-0 win for Mark Hughes' side. Watford and Everton with a 1-1 draw, meaning Everton and Manchester United both dropped points, and as you can see, Chelsea have been their biggest benefactors of the weekend results. Wolves beating Newcastle United by 1-0, and Brighton beating Burnley by 2-0, which is unfortunate for Burnley. They were on a real roll. Crystal Palace losing to West Ham by 2-0. And later on in the weekend, Tottenham beating Leicester by 4-1, and the same can be said for Mauricio Sarri's Chelsea side beating Newcastle by 4-1. So very interesting. That's like 2 days apart. And that is the end of today's scores. So, what that means for the Premier League table, a lot of teams have a game in hand over most of the top 8. Manchester United still lead the table, but only by 2 points now, as Mauricio Sarri's Chelsea side continue to rise through, and now they're in second and within touching distance of the league leaders. Everton's drop points mean they drop to third in the table with 49 points, followed by Spurs on 48, and anything is still up for grabs. Burnley a little bit further back in 5th, Manchester City just continuing to struggle, and now they've lost a game. Actually, they have a game in hand over Burnley, so they could claw that back up. But as we said last week, has their title surge taken too much of a blow for them to recover? We'll have to wait and see as games are running out. Liverpool in 7th with Wolves in 8th. Arsenal into the top 10 in 9th. They had a chance to actually go 8th today. They actually had a chance to go 7th ahead of Liverpool, but unfortunately they only draw with Huddersfield today. West Ham also on 40 points in 10th. Leicester City follow in 11th, followed by Southampton, Brighton, Bournemouth, Palace, Watford and Huddersfield with a vital point to get them out of the drop zone, but level on points with Newcastle and ahead on goal difference. Fulham, as we said, a vital point in their push towards safety as well. Cardiff City, though, still struggling and suffering a bit of a heavy defeat today as well. And it is looking increasingly unlikely that Cardiff could get out, but we have been wrong before. Anything could happen in the final couple months of this season.